place on earth. Willimantic, my hometown. There's a good main street where good neighbors meet. Miles of smiles keep chasing you around. You'll be living, life's worth living. Once you're here, you'll stay. We have everything to make a man a king in Willimantic, USA.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Windham Weekly here on WILI 1495.3. I'm Ken Folan, the voice of Windham, and your host, along with my co-host, Mr. Mark Doyle.
Hi, Ken.
That's enough. Anyway, so today's show is going to feature, again, it'll be featuring students from Windham High School.
Right.
And they are involved in a program called Windham Readers, and I'm going to have them explain a little bit about that to you. But really quickly, it's a program that is pretty exciting, positive, and great for future growth. I'd love to find out what you all want to do. These ladies are all seniors. And so I'll introduce them by name, and then they will just go ahead and tell you a little about themselves. And then whoever wants to be the spokesman to get going to let us know about the program and what you're doing and how it works. If not, I'll keep on talking. But, so we'll start off with contestant number one, Adelia Lopez. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi, can you tell us about the program a little bit and yourself?
Okay, so Whipper Readers consists of a bunch of high school seniors that are taking the class Yukon Multimodal Composition. We go to Sweeney every month, and we help the kids in improving their literacy skills so that they don't have any trouble in the future, like let's say reading any important documents with health, etc., things like that.
So are they bilingual students mostly, or?
It's a mix of both.
It's a mix.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I had a couple students that were bilingual, so we would bring them books in Spanish, and then, that's just some of the things we did.
Perfect. Our next person would be Jeanette Morales.
Hello. Like Adalia said, we read to students at Sweeney, and we try to increase their literacy skills and have the courage for them to speak throughout reading. And it's just, I guess it's I feel like it's an important thing we do for little kids, and it just impacts them positively.
It impacts them, and I know it's going to impact you and all the other students who are involved in that program in a positive manner. Our next person would be
Hold your breath.
Ilyanice.
Oh.
And her last name is Cruz. Ilyanice Cruz.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Hi. So kind of like they said, like our program with readers, it really is helpful, not just for them, but also for us, because we also, it does impact them, but it also, impacts us. We learn, if we want to go to university and, study for education, then these are, kind of steps that do help us so that we can be able to, not struggle by the time we get to university and help.
Sure. So it's only, you're testing your waters in what could be a potential future field for you, education, which is, I can't praise teachers enough.
It's a calling, Ken.
It is a calling. It's a craft, as I always say, being able to communicate a skill or knowledge to another person. It doesn't have to be an educator, but it's a craft.
I have a toss-up question here. If you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. You had mentioned UConn. Are you getting college credits for this class? Is this like an AP class that you're taking?
Yeah, so this class is a UConn class, so you will be getting the credit for college, right? It goes on your UConn transcript, so eventually, whichever schools accept the credit, it will be it will go towards your college.
Are you taking any other AP courses? Any of you? Or?
Oh, yes, I am.
Yeah.
Which are those?
So I am taking AP Psychology, UConn Biotechnology, and UConn Biology.
Excellent.
I'm taking Western Traditions, UConn Western Traditions, Multimodal Composition, and UConn Biotech and UConn Biology, and I think AP Stats.
Wonderful.
So I'm taking UConn Multimodal, UConn Western Traditions, AP Spanish Lang, AP Stats, and AP Psychology too.
So basically, you guys are going to graduate from Windham and have already almost a semester worth of credit at the university.
Yes.
That'll help your education up there and probably save some money. What do you think, Ken?
Definitely.
Man, listen, take your seniors now, but to your classmates who are in, juniors and sophomores, especially the freshmen who may be, they're at the middle school currently, jump on board the AP program. We've made, not we, the town, through the Board of Education, has made a heck of an investment in AP classes, and the benefits are unbelievable down the road when you become a senior. I've known kids to have a year and a half of credits to be, that they earned. They get out of college quicker. They save a lot of money, not just for themselves, but for their parents as well, because it's an expensive proposition, college these days, and you want to get that return on your investment. So I know, I'm not your mom and dad, but if I was your mom and dad, I'd want a return on my tax dollars. And you students, that's why I don't mind paying what I pay for taxes in this town to benefit the school programs that the Board of Ed has put in place and that our frontline teachers implement. By the way, this class that they're speaking of, their AP English class, is taught by Dr. Kathy Colgan. She's their advisor for this program. A pretty dedicated and long-term tenured teacher at the high school. There's not too many people that pass through that building that haven't had her in one way or another. Very impressive educator, and we're lucky to have her at the high school. So you're all in a program. You're all helping these youngsters learn to read. You know that impacts you. It impacts them. So what responses have you? What kind of responses? I'll say feedback. What kind of feedback have you gotten from the younger students that make you want to go the next month and can't wait to get there again to help them?
So we've gotten feedback from the teachers as well. Some of the teachers were amazing. They said that this program helps their kids be more confident in reading, and every day they see a change in the way they view reading, which was one of our main goals, was to change attitude towards reading and make reading seem fun. Most of the kids, we took surveys at the beginning of the program, and at first they were like, yeah, when I'm reading, it's a little boring, I get distracted. And then at the end, we asked them these questions again, and the results were so much, better. These kids were saying that they loved reading with us especially. They just loved reading all the time now, especially when we come and we read to them and we give them books that they could take home, which then creates the at-home library. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And yourself, Jeanette?
So, like Adalia mentioned, we have received positive impact, a positive feedback on teachers and the students. So, Mina Leonis worked on our capstone, and our capstone, consisted of engaging students to read more and have a positive feedback. And throughout this entire year, we've seen change. We've seen kids grow through their reading skills, and one of them even told us, when are you guys coming back? We miss you. We love having you, because it's just, for me, it makes my heart melt, because I'm making a positive impact on them, and they're growing as kids through reading.
That's a positive statement right there. That's really important to hear. That's what I was looking for, because I would imagine they appreciate you being there, and then they get attached to you. Being a teacher and watching kids move on gets emotional, because you end up, these people are like your mom and dad, your teachers, if you connect correctly and you're getting out of that class. So one other thing before I throw it over to Mark again, Ileanice. She's going to crucify me by the time this is done. This is all tied to the capstone requirement. Tell the people in the town what you actually have to do as seniors now with this capstone, and Mark might, as a Board of Ed member, might come back and explain a little bit more in depth as well.
So our capstone is mandatory. We do need it to be able to graduate, and it kind of varies depending on your English teacher. So since we had Dr. Colgin, ours was to like help kids learn how to read and improve their literacy levels, and that really did help them a lot. I've noticed in like the data that we had that they really have improved a lot. They really do like reading more. Like our kids, today was our last visit, and when we asked like one of our kids, she like didn't want us to leave because she didn't want like the newcomers. She really liked us, and it seemed like she didn't have like a good experience with the past Whipper readers either. So it seems that we made like a really big impact on her and like her class as well.
No, you are, all three are very impressive ladies that are here. So is there a physical report that's required as well at the end to submit a capstone, or Mark, do you?
There is, at least a project outline and to verify that they've done their capstone event. You might explain the capstone. Every senior is required to do some project, some special, which is approved at the beginning of the year by their teacher, and then in this case, they do the reading program. But everyone has a different program that they do. Hey, Ken, speaking of which, how can people get a hold of us? How can people talk to our guests?
They need to call the hottest number in town, 456-1400. Speak to these, very special Windham High School seniors who are graduating in about, 20 some odd days or less, right? Are you counting? Because I am. My wife will be done with school and summer can begin and she can start doing work around the house.
It's time for senioritis.
No. These girls, they don't have senioritis. They want to keep going. So let's go with that. So what are you come right down the line, so we'll start with you, Adelaide. What are your plan? What, did I screw that up too? Adelia?
Yes.
Adelia.
Wow.
Listen, I told you, this is why I left the Board of Ed. I couldn't be held accountable for how I pronounce things. I'm from a Rhode Island education.
Or how
I
you
get
write
8 million
them.
excuses what my issues are.
How you write things down on the paper there, Ken?
I write it down phonetically. But anyway. So, contestant number 1.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Why don't you tell us what you plan to do in this fall? What are your goals and for yourself?
So I committed to University of Bridgeport. I'll be studying criminal justice, and I'm gonna have a minor in modern language. So for my career, I'm hoping to start off as a police officer and make my way up, eventually becoming maybe FBI or CSI, and yeah.
Yeah. Contestant number 2.
So after I graduate Windham High School, I'm going to Manchester Community College for 2 years and then transferring for a 4-year university, hopefully UConn, and then I'm majoring in political science and then going into law and hopefully become a lawyer.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Go ahead, Ken.
My friend Ms. Cruz.
So I plan on committing to Eastern State University, and I plan to study psychology and hopefully become a clinical psychologist for the FBI.
For the FBI. So all of you have like a thread of, get it, Thread City? They all have a thread of the law profession in them, and that's in criminal justice in that way, go to law school and then work for the FBI. That's good. Those are goals that I know that you can obtain. Just from meeting you and hearing your background and all that, and how I know you're all motivated to do something big, and that's important.
If we get a chance, let's do. I feel like we need a little more detail about the actual reading program. We talked about going to Sweeney and visiting the kids, but is that all the kids that were Sweeney, or do you pick one particular grade level at Sweeney, and do you see the same child September to June? Tell me a little more details about the actual program.
So
Anybody?
So these kids have previous experiences since starting from kindergarten, and it is select classes. We typically read to, for our second grade, we read to Dos Rios, which is bilingual students or multilingual students. We also choose these books out based on Lexile level so that they are able to read them, and we do see the same students from September to the end of this project.
So they're all second graders?
No, we read from kindergarten to 5th grade.
Kindergarten to 5th, okay.
Yes, and each of us, I'd say we have 4 out of the 5 grades. I had kindergarten, 2nd grade, 4th, and 5th grade.
Me and Leonis had kindergarten.
First grade, third grade, and fourth grade.
Yes. And we raise the money ourselves as the school. Miss Kojin helps us raise the money, and we get donations from.
So the money and the donations, that's to purchase books for the program that you give to the kids to take home?
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent.
So what are you going to do this summer? What's going on this summer? Are we working? Are you working now? I would imagine some of you.
Yeah, working.
What do you do?
I work at McDonald's.
Which one?
Mansfield.
Oh, you're not the one that forgets to put the extra tartar sauce on my fillet of fish, are you?
No.
Okay. 'Cause if I'm going to get fat, I might as well eat the good stuff. And
So are you working the counter or the grill?
Counter, yeah,
Oh,
cashier
okay,
and all that stuff.
so you're going to continue that through the summer?
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. Because Bridgeport's that's a ride.
Yeah, definitely.
Fillet of fish doesn't stay warm from here to there, let me tell you. And what about you, Jeanette?
I'm not currently working right now, but I am going to work in the summer, and I'm going to save some money and try to pay off for some of my college and books and everything. But I'm going to be probably working with little kids at Laudert Park.
As work for the rec department?
No, for East Con. They have
Oh, okay.
yeah.
They have a program there as well?
They do jobs. They give out jobs for students.
He's got a youth job program.
Yeah.
So she may end up working in the recreation, not necessarily for the recreation department.
Well, I figured Lauder Park rec department.
Yeah, she may end up working with the camp, but it's.
Yeah. And yourself, Miss Cruz?
Well, I don't currently work. I am also trying to get employed for the summer at EastCon too. I also kind of just have free time during the summer. I'm not going to be doing
A
much.
lady of leisure.
Well, I'm sure you're busy during the school year. Besides this reading program, what else do you guys do? Are you involved in the sports programs up there, or the music, or?
Yes. So I play soccer, I do wrestling, and I play tennis.
Wrestling. Both my kids did wrestling.
How'd the women's soccer team do this year?
Pretty good. I think we ended 7, 8, and
And
2.
who's the coach now for the ladies soccer team?
Michael Clancy.
We're more concerned with the wrestling. Okay, let's go to the wrestling program.
It's over, for God's sake.
Both my kids went through wrestling. I worked for. I was the parent involved in raising money for all the food and running the food department for 10 years. So
Grow the profits in
glad to see people
his belly.
standing. I worked. Do you go
Sold
to the
185.
women only events, or you're still just in
Yes,
the Tacoma?
yes. My coach brought us to many of the girl tournaments.
Okay.
I placed at every single one.
So you're pinning your way to the top. Excellent.
And yourself?
This year I did cross country in the fall, indoor track and outdoor track.
Is that what all with Coach Pros?
Yeah. Cross country is with someone else, but track and field is with Coach Pros.
Coach Pros, right.
Well, indoor is with Baper.
They ended up pretty good this year, right?
Yes, outdoor track, I think we won ECCs for the boys. ECC boys won, right? Yeah, and the girls only lost to Montville, but we did pretty good.
Ilianese? Mm-hmm. Yeah, see? The medication finally kicked in.
Well, I do both indoor and outdoor track too.
Yeah, that was my sport, was track. Oh, my God. Could I run?
You
High jump, run.
He was a speedster, I tell you.
Then I found McDonald's. So, academically, you guys are going to be towards the head of the pack with your list of AP classes and everything else. You got to be right up there, I would imagine. And so you've all been accepted at the colleges that you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. Now what's coming up next? Prom, or has that already happened?
That's coming up
Yep.
When's that?
May 30th.
First.
Or 31st, yeah.
Next weekend.
Yes.
You can still go, Ken.
I've chaperoned enough proms of mine. Yeah, my wife
So-
doesn't want me to go anymore.
Are you guys all going?
Yeah.
To ask
They
them
were all
who they're going
spoken.
with.
They were all spoken
Who
for.
are you?
Well, you
Yeah.
can tell us who the guys are if you want. You're not going to embarrass them. Go ahead. Who are the guys? Are they athletes? Are they the smart guys? Who are they? Who are the clubs down there?
Just a regular guy.
Nice.
Do we have a color of the dresses? Do we know that? Yeah.
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
How about you, Jeanette? Jeanette's got somebody special. I can see the twinkle in her eye. This might be long term, this one.
No, I'm going with some friends of mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going as a group?
Yeah, we're going as a
That's
group.
good.
Yeah.
Ileanise, what about you?
Well, there's no guy for me. No, I'm just going with my friends.
She's going with someone who can pronounce her name, Ken. That's what she's doing.
So it's fun. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 again. How would you rate your experience at Windham High School? Or, you know something? Have you all been here from kindergarten forward?
Yeah.
All three of you all have been here from kindergarten. And I'm not going to go into that stat mark, but this goes back from when I was on the board. The success we have with students
Yep.
when we have them K through 12. But I want you to talk about your experience overall and then specifically the high school at the end. So each of you think about your answer. Go ahead. I know you're ready to go.
So I'd rate my experience probably like throughout. I think I'd say a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
Yeah. I went to the elementary school, Windham Center. I
Yeah.
had like a great experience there. It was so nice. Such a loving school. Actually sad they're gonna be getting shut down. But at the middle school, you know, it was pretty good as well. I wasn't really involved in sports and things like that, but so that's why it's like, you know, a little mixed feelings there. But when I got to Windham High, it was like a whole bunch of opportunities opened up for me. I started playing sports. I started getting involved with a bunch of clubs, and it was just an amazing opportunity for me to be able to do sports, like especially wrestling. Like now, women's wrestling is like a growing sport, and being able to do it at the high school, even though there's not a women's team, it's still like, you know, it's nice knowing that we're able to do sports along with the men. And not only that, but like the amount of classes that we have now, especially with the freshman AP, sophomore AP, all the APs, like they're all offered to freshmen to seniors, which is something that we didn't have when we were freshmen, but I'm so happy that the freshmen now have it. They're able to get their credit and build all that credit, get way more credit than we did, which is like something that's so important. They're able to get like basically like
Mark Doyle.
like Mark said, that they're able to like get like
His
a
name
whole
you can
semester.
forget.
They're able to get a whole semester off, and it's like it saves so much more money being able to have these opportunities, which in other schools that you might not be able to find. So at Windham High School, I'd rate my I rated a 10 out of 10.
So you made what happened to you is you made a connection with a lot of staff and coaches and so my question back to you, and I'll ask the other two ladies as well. So I would assume then you were academically challenged. It wasn't like a walk in the park.
Yeah,
There
no.
was some rigor, and you met the challenge.
Yeah, definitely. Some of these classes were definitely holding you up to the college standard. Some of them, like, we struggle in, and it's like it really prepares us for college. I'm part of NHS, the National Honor Society, so like all these classes helped me build my GPA to be able to be a part of that the NHS, and you know, it's just something to be proud of. You know, not everybody's
Sure is.
able to get an invitation to be part of NHS, so you know, it's just something that I'm proud of.
So we can watch you wearing your cords at graduation.
So
yeah,
I'm so proud of you
definitely.
because Mark was never even able to cross the stage. I don't know how he's on the board again. Okay, Jeanette, let's 12. Start like
K through 12. Well, I went through
you
NatChug.
went to Nat Chalk.
Amazing experience. I truly loved NatChug so much with my heart. I even visit sometimes still. Last 2 weeks ago, I visited some of my teachers. And I went through Windham Middle School. And like Adalia mentioned, I was also not really involved with the community in Windham Middle School, but it's the awkward phase. It's where, you're trying to
Mark
find.
is still trying to grow
Right.
up.
Don't forget about the awkward stage.
5-star laugh right there.
You're trying to find who you are, trying to find the right people to hang out with.
Yeah.
And after I went to a different school for 1 year, and I just thought it wasn't me. I want to go back to my town. I want to go to Willimantic, Windham, and I went to Windham High School, and I realized there that I had so much opportunities that I thought I would never have. I went, took AP classes, UConn classes, QVCC classes. I interacted with a lot of people. I made connections. I joined sports that made me interact with more people that I didn't know, like underclassmen, upperclassmen, and honestly, it was just a great experience. I'm kind of sad that I'm gonna graduate and I'm leaving those teachers and those friends left behind. Essentially,
That's the most typical experience in emotion you're going to have is you're leaving a place you've grown to love, the high school, without a doubt, the connections you made, the teachers. So the most important thing you can do for yourself, and I bet you for some of those teachers like Kathy Colgan and the rest, right, is to go back, when you get that break at Thanksgiving time and just say hello and thank them.
Some $5 bill.
Well, we'll talk about money later. But that means a lot to the teacher because, you always hear the stories about salaries and this and that. We don't get into that baloney. But the reality of it is, that's the $1 million paycheck for the teacher. And I'll share one experience I had, and there's millions I can give you over my time on the board. And you think this guy's a volunteer, he's on the board of a big deal, right? But there was a kid who got into a little bit of trouble. And he had to step away from the school for a while. And so the guarantee to him was, you do this, this, and this. I'll be the guy at the end of the stage, and I'll be so proud to hand you your diploma. And he did. And that was my money. He says, "Do you remember me, mister?" And I looked at him. I'm like, I don't know, 35 kids that year. What do you mean, And do I remember you? And I'm looking at him. He took off his sunglasses, and I did remember him. I remember the whole situation. I remember the whole story. And, he gave me the biggest hug. And he just said, "You were right, and thank you for letting me cross the stage," and all this other stuff. But I went home, and my wife, as you know, is a teacher there. And I said, "I just got $1 million paycheck." Because the impact you have on these kids, you never, ever know as a volunteer, as the custodian in the building, In my industry, we I don't care if you're a dishwasher or the president of a multi-million-dollar college, right? You always say hi and be polite because you never know. You never know. Contestant number 3, Miss Cruz. And you thought I was going to leave you out. Ilanese.
Alienese.
Yeah. She changes her name every time I say it. It's her fault.
So when I was little, I moved a lot. So I went to both Natchog and North Windham. They were both very different experiences, but very good schools. I really enjoyed my time there. I wasn't really that involved at all in my community until I got to middle school. I joined this program called the after school program, where you'd stay after school and then you'd stay with some staff members and you'd get your work done and also just do fun activities and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then once I got to high school, I did start to get more involved in sports and clubs too. I think I've definitely grown more since I've joined. I've definitely come out of my comfort zone because I used to be very shy. Now I'm a little more talkative and more comfortable around people. And so that has definitely shown me grown. And with all the college experiences that I've had, I also joined the summer program called CONCAP, which is now Upward Bound. That definitely helped me get more college credit and more experiences. So now I've joined the NHS. I'm in the top 10 in my school. And that's definitely helped me grow.
Told you they were smart.
Yeah. They came on the show anyway, don't they? Well, I think a common theme here, Ken, is getting involved at the high school. It's very important when you're at the high school to get involved in either clubs or the teams, or that's what helps round out and make the high school experience excellent. You're involved in those extracurricular activities.
Well, you got to always remember too, and I talk numbers a lot, but the expense of running that school sometimes runs into issues with any community, okay? But I have 3 examples here. You didn't meet me before. You probably wouldn't have come on the show if you did, right? She's saying yes, because I can't say your first name.
They were picked at random, right?
They were picked at random by whomever, Miss Colgan, I would imagine. And, and this is kind of, I don't know why I said the testimony, but it is a testament to, I think, what people in this town need to understand and hear. And I ask everyone right now to watch the show on YouTube, Windham Weekly on YouTube, on Saturdays once it's posted, right? See these bright, smiling faces. I'm proud to be with them. They're super, super kids. I was like Miss Cruz here. I was shy. Imagine that. I couldn't say a word in front of a public. That's baloney. But anyway, but it was one of those things where when you got involved, like I get involved in school and this and that, and you get involved in your career as you get going, and they do things for the community. A lot of places do, charitable works. You get involved in that, and you never know what path is going to change, because you may stick to your career. You might change it 10 different times, right? You don't know. And nowadays, I guess you change your careers more than that, with some people. But I think you guys are very, very impressive, and I am so thankful to your moms and your dads and your family to get you where you are today, because, you graduate this fall, you're all going to be, it's going to be 100% on your shoulders, right? I'll put the pressure on you for college. I'll check on you, make sure you're getting those good grades. But it's important. And then you come back to town and you can be proud. You're a proud Windham High School graduate, right? You're an alumni, and you can speak on behalf of your community and move forward. Don't ever be afraid to go to a meeting and speak up on. If I was on the Board of Ed today, this is what I'd be doing. Bring in the students. Don't prep anybody. Let them tell their experience. Okay, so if things weren't as hot, or if they weren't that engaging at the high school, at the middle school for some reason, that maybe it is the age factor and the immaturity level, right, at that point. But maybe they can try a little bit more to be a little bit more engaging, because the high school's got it. It has it. If you take advantage of it. Now, if you want to just be a 9 to 5 guy and get in and get out, you're not going to take advantage of what's there. But everything you did was work towards your future. All those extra classes, the programs you're in, and everything else. Guys in the Board of Ed need to hear that. This is what we need to get. This is what we need to get across to the community to support the Windham School District. Am I right, Mr. Doyle?
Absolutely, Ken. I would never disagree with you on that subject. But speaking of which, you guys have lived through a tough period there with the high school with the renovation. How did you survive the renovation?
Oh, what a beautiful school!
Is the new school that much better? Was it your experience? How was your experience through that renovation process?
So it was.
It was challenging, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I thought it was kind of funny. 1 week you're able to walk through one hallway, the next week the hallway's gone,
Yep.
and then you just had to getting from point A to point B, and your classroom. Let's say you have culinary, it's on the other side of the school, and then you have to walk all the way to get lunch, and then it makes the walk so much longer.
Can you imagine? You want in your home, all right, and your kitchen just isn't what it is. You want the stove over there, you want the machine over there, and this and that. You don't like upper cabinets. You want all lower cabinets. You want to talk about disruption in your home.
Oh,
Multiply that times that building.
yeah,
They were there for it.
definitely. The random drilling noises in the middle of the class.
But you made it, right?
Even
Yep,
today, we got some random drilling noises.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, the school is so much better than it was before.
Does it look beautiful?
It's so nice. The bathrooms are
showcase.
they're so nice.
That's, again, we're hoping that instills pride in the younger kids. And, what about you? Didn't negatively impact you guys? I mean, it was just an inconvenience here and there.
Yeah, it was it was pretty funny. Sometimes my teachers would try to do lectures, and the drilling noise would come up, and they would stop the lecture because of the drilling noise. Or like Dahlia mentioned also, we couldn't walk in certain areas, so we had to we had to go to another area to go through our classrooms, and sometimes we were late to class.
Now, Mark, are they graduating outside or inside?
Outside.
Outside of the field.
That's the plan, yeah.
At the school.
Yes, at the high
Now,
school.
these ladies, you all must have used the new track and the.
They are track athletes.
Hey, Mark, you don't get
I
to
remember
me.
I remember the
Do
interview.
you think I didn't run? Look at me.
Hey, Matt, do we have a drill right now, Matt? Where we can drown out some folks?
So how do you like the athletic fields in the gym and all that? That I know the classrooms came out beautiful and the made central office and in the auditorium, but how about those fields out there? Is that something that makes you proud when you see that whippet out there in the middle of the field?
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, it was always such, like, a pride and joy, especially playing soccer, like, where we were able to host games and they just come in, like, the turf was so nice. It was amazing. You know, not a lot of schools have the accessibility to that and, like, the affordability. It was, like, it's so nice. It's so beautiful. Like, I was so, like, every time getting on that field to play felt like, you know, it felt amazing, and with the lights and the sound system, it was so fun. You know, playing under the lights was like a really good time.
What about you, Miss Cruz?
Well, I really liked it. Before track, we weren't allowed to have any like home games because like every zone would not like meet up to standards, and so after they changed it, we had our like track renovated, and now we're able to have so many home games. Now the season's over, we've had like so many home games, and they were all so fun, and I really enjoyed them. I was glad that we were actually like able to have them now.
Yeah, I'm glad the community supported that decision to give that school a facelift.
So are you all runners, or do anyone does field events? Who's a discus or shot put throw here? No?
No.
Oh.
We would have brought our friend along. She had an interview. She actually broke a record in indoor track and broke
3?
Allegedly broke 3
Allegedly.
altogether, indoor and outdoor
For
track.
what?
What was it?
Was it triple jump in outdoor, the 100 in outdoor, and the 50?
55 and
50
indoor.
Yeah,
Oh,
55
okay.
in indoor.
So
What's that person's name? Give him a little credit.
Angelia Christie.
Julia Chrissy. Now I can say that name.
They could call in right now.
Hey, so let's do this. Let's do another round robin of what advice would you give those young kids? I'm just kind of late now because you're done with them as of today. About their education going forward, and you can. And now that they're into your junior class or their sophomore class, there's like two. Because you can only say so much to the little guys, but when you get friends, who I'm sure you all have friends, maybe relatives, that are a couple of years behind, what do you say to them? If they're not actively doing things or taking advantage of, what do you say? Do you just want to be that shining example? Because I'm telling you, you guys are amazing.
I'd say, like, don't be shy. Get involved with the community. Like, Windham High School's motto is literally La Familia. So it's like within the community, not only at the high school, like you're able to build like a family, a true family, and you'll be able to like love this town and the people that are in it. Like, just, you know, don't hide in your shell. Just go out and have fun.
Okay, Jeanette.
Well, just be yourself, you know, go through, join sports, join clubs, join anything possible, because you don't know who you will meet throughout the end. And I guess you'll make connections, you'll make long-term friends, you'll meet your people. And, you know, I'm going to miss Windham High School because it taught me to make, you know, I made connections, and I will never forget those connections. And it's just, you know, just join everything possible, because it's your high school, you know, it's Windham High, it's your experience that you can never get. So, yeah.
Miss Cruz.
Well, honestly, because I wasn't that involved, the only reason I got involved was because I found a friend who would get involved with me, so it would benefit me, but it also benefit them. So I'd probably say, like, try to find someone who you can get involved with, because that really helped me, especially with being shy and all. That really made, like, a big impact on me. That's how, like, I am who I am today. And so, like, joining track, too, I made a lot of new friends who I would just see when I would like walk in the halls, I'd just see them in the halls, and I would never thought I would talk to them. And like now that I've joined track, I've like really like never thought I'd talk to them, but I am now, and like I'm friends with them. We follow each other on Instagram and stuff, and we have like hangouts and all that stuff. So we're really close. So I say like try to just get involved, just go for it.
You can't be too shy because you're on this show, Windham Weekly, every Thursday, 4 to 5 on 1400 WILI and 95.3.
One of the highest rated shows on the air.
The highest rated show. And so you're speaking to millions of people right now. They're all my fans. Every one of them. Big, and when I leave here, I have security because they want to know what I'm having for dinner. So no, that's good advice. But what about, do you have younger siblings? Anybody have younger siblings?
Yes, I do.
And what are they, real young, or are they just close by, or?
No, well, she's a freshman at Windham High.
Okay, so is she as motivated as you are?
Not as much. I'm trying to
Kick
push
her
her to
butt.
do.
Kick her butt.
I'm trying to push her to do a couple of sports. Like I'm really pushing her to get into wrestling. So.
Well, this is
Excellent
more
sport.
wrestlers.
It's an excellent
Mr.
sport.
Risley's still a
Definitely.
coach down there for wrestling.
Mr. Rizzo's
Yes,
still the coach.
yes.
Tell him to
Yeah.
hang up his tights. Tell Mr. Fullerton, hang up your tights, Let a young guy like me handle it all.
I'm trying to talk Mr. Risley into having a alumni comebacks with all the alumni coming back and wrestle, but he's not sure they can cut the weight as much as they used to. A few of those alumni have
Should have
gotten a
stayed in
little
shape like
over
me,
with
Doyle. You should have stayed in shape like me.
No, it's my son, not me. I was the food guy, Ken.
Yeah, no kidding.
I sold the penny, the pasta.
Yeah, see, you gotta eat healthy. You gotta eat healthy, Doyle, he's just, you gotta get in shape. Right, Matt? That's the way it is.
7 minutes to go.
All right. So, going to Bridgeport, I'm sorry,
Manchester Community College.
MCC in Eastern.
Easter.
Yeah. And what's your plan there besides the academic classes that you're going to take? You're going to get involved. I know Eastern's D3. You're going to try to get on their track program.
I was gonna try to. I do kind of feel like I should.
You should. I'm going to tell you to do that. And I'll give
Yes,
you-
sir, Mr. Foley.
We need you to do that because you got to represent Windham High School. And what's the worst thing that could happen, right? You try it, and then maybe you are a star, maybe you're not, right? But you're still a part of the team. You get in the exercise, which is good for you, and you get to meet other people, just like you did at the high school. And yourself, Jeanette, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna still be in the community. I'm gonna be there for 2 years, and then transfer for a 4-year university. But I'm gonna still be in town. I volunteer at the Willimantic Public Library.
Doing what?
I shelf books. I participate in programs. I'm in the teen advisory board right now for the library currently. That's my favorite place to go, honestly.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you get the chance to work with the public and help them out.
Yes.
And like I said, it's a town that accepts volunteers and needs volunteers desperately.
Yep.
Jeanette? No. Now I'm getting names and faces. Forget about mispronouncing. Go ahead. What do you?
Number 3, go ahead.
No, she's number 1. Don't screw me up.
So I'll be wrestling at Bridgeport. They have a women's wrestling team.
Is it D3?
D2.
D2? And
Yes.
did you get on the team?
Yeah, I'm in contact with the coach and everything. So.
Do you need an agent? Can I make money off of this scam?
But yeah, I'm hoping to get involved in the Bridgeport community. Like the campus is amazing. I fell in love when I first went there, and hope everything goes well for me at Bridgeport. So.
And so is it a winter season for is it male, females, or is it completely separate up there for that?
I'm not entirely sure.
Not entirely sure. Mm-hmm. But you're already on the team. That's fantastic. Now, did you tell Coach Risley that you're on the team?
Oh, I don't think so.
Now, is Bridgeport, you going to be resident there, or are you going to commute? You're not going to commute, right?
No, definitely. I'm going to be a resident there,
Okay.
Yeah. Well, don't forget your hometown.
yeah. Of course.
We need folks like you to improve it as we continue on here.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe Risley's going to hang up his tights and you could take on the coaching reins. You don't know. You don't know. What do you got, Mr. Doyle?
For questions? Or for anything in particular?
Anything in particular? Talk to young ladies.
So tell us, I want to get back into the program. tell us more about the now. How many? Let's say how many seniors? It's not just you. How many seniors are actually involved, or how many students are actually involved in this program? How many of you go to Sweeney?
Rough estimate, I'd say maybe a little over 50, no? Yeah, I'd say a little more over 50. I have
50 students?
Yeah, that.
Wow.
And so how many, that must be at least three classes,
That's
right?
yeah,
Okay.
3 classes.
See that, Mark? How I know the math?
Now, so I assume you're taking a bus to get there?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay.
And how many, like, are you there for an hour, 2 hours? Is it before school, after school?
We're there at like 8:30 or
Yeah, we pack our bags and the books and we bring them over to Sweeney. We stay around until 11, and then we make our way back to Windham High and get our lunch, and that's it. And it's during the day, so it works out for everyone.
So are you missing any classes at the high school while you're over there?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the top
but it's
10,
for a
where
good
the hell is
cause.
that? I think if they were having academic difficulty, maybe they would.
No, they wouldn't. It's
Yeah.
that's another
You see
challenge
how
of
the
the
Board of Ed
program.
guys think? They don't,
Well, it's another challenge of the program.
I'd rather
We
cheerlead
have to
you
point
guys
out.
and not them worry about whether you're doing good in school.
Well, we have to point out another challenge of the program that not only are they doing this volunteer work at Sweeney, they're also maintaining their grades and their academic standards at the high school,
The guy's so black and white.
which would be so good for them, Ken, when they go into their jobs. This can be on their resume. They can put down the fact that they
Don't
were.
give him my job experience.
They can,
I'm the job coach for these kids.
they can point out that they were on our show.
All right, we got just a minute or so left, so
Speaking of which, let me have another question. Did you guys take advantage of all the scholarships that the high school has available for college
Yes,
students?
definitely.
Yes.
Apply to
Yeah.
everyone I
The high
can to
schools
get all
apply
the
for
money.
$50 for scholars?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
I've been on the scholars for 20 years.
pat him on the back and give him a medal. But anyway, just really quick.
We're giving away almost $58,000 in scholarships this year through Dollars for Scholars.
1, 2, 3. What would you like to say really quickly to the staff and the administration up at the high school before you cross that stage? And no swearing.
I love every single one of my teachers. They're literally the greatest. I appreciate especially Colton, Daleb, and Kanopka. They helped me out, I think, the most at Windham High.
Okay.
I want to thank all my teachers and all the staff in Windham High for having given me the opportunity to have a great experience, especially Dr. Kojin.
I'd also like to thank all of my teachers, especially Miss Nagel, who's my psychology teacher. She's also really helped me a lot. So I'd just say thank you.
Well, I want to say on behalf of Mark and I in the Windham Weekly Show, thank you for taking the time to come here after school. It was a pleasure meeting 3 brilliant young ladies with bright futures, soon to be alumni of Windham High School. I mean that. You guys were terrific. Hey, listen, next week, the voice of Windham, myself, Ken Fulham, will not be available due to unforeseen circumstances. I will leave the show in the gracious hands of Mr. Doyle.
I will endeavor to
in there.
maintain the standards.
Hang in there. I will be back. So it's 1 week of being bored to death with Mr. Doyle running the show. Thank you, and we'll talk to you next week.